Interesting, because we're more than a month after a 15-year-old girl was found dead in the trunk of that Tesla.
You know, I'm not surprised, but I think that the general public is probably like, what is going on here? Why aren't you moving forward? Um,
I need so many things, so many things that I need.
In the David case, he transferred both of his Houston houses to his mother's name.
There's been a major update in the case of David and Celeste, as David just released a song. I mean, you're gonna want to hear this. Just yesterday, thousands of people got a BandLab notification that David released a new song titled Rush, but minutes later, it vanished.
David just dropped a brand new track about Celeste and then instantly deleted it. Her family, especially her cousins, are now acting all kinds of suspicious and the internet's going wild. Let's break this down. So here's what went down. David, clearly restless, uploaded a song and then yanked it off almost right after. Like, why tease the internet like that? And as usual, fans are convinced it's about Celeste again. His lyrics, the tone, everything screams her.
And to them, I would just say that it takes a lot to be able to get proof beyond a reasonable doubt for a conviction. And a district attorney's office is going to wait until police officers, detectives have conducted a full and final investigation so that they've collected enough evidence so that they have a rock hard, solid.
People started flooding BandLab after getting that notification saying David had posted new music there. Now, for those who don't know, BandLab's like SoundCloud on steroids, a platform where artists can drop music, mix with others, collab, and build tracks without the whole Spotify or label drama. It's basically a digital playground for independent artists. But here's the weird part. If you try to access that upload now, all you'll see is an error message or a private track warning. Because, yep, David deleted it almost immediately. Which begs the question, why upload it at all? It feels like David's playing games at this point, like he wants to feed that mysterious, misunderstood artist image and watch the internet go crazy talking about him. Every move he makes lately seems designed to spark chaos and speculation. And this time, he definitely succeeded. The fandom's in a frenzy, so the song's called Rush.
Case. So I'm not necessarily surprised that they're not ready to, go forward, indict, prosecute. I think they really, especially on a media focused type of case.
And honestly, it sounds like something straight out of his unreleased Deluxe album. Fans think this might have been one of those extra tracks that never made it officially out. And the lyrics, wow, they're messy, emotional, and very telling. In the track, David sings, "I thought we were taking it slow, but you don't want to wait on me. I just need you to know." Then it spirals into, "There are so many things that I need." It's like he's describing a relationship that's falling apart, where one person's ready to move fast and the other's just not there yet. It totally mirrors how people described his situation with Celeste. Him trying to hold off, her wanting more, and the whole thing turning complicated real quick. Then it gets darker and way more cryptic.
Released a new song and then deleted it, and he might be hiding in Australia. You heard that right. So last night, fans got a notification from BandLab that David just dropped a new song. This song was titled Rush, and in it contains some lyrics that hinted about Celeste and that she might have possibly been cheating on him. Now, this could be a potential motive, however, we don't have any other confirmation, and the song was briefly deleted right after it was uploaded. Now, before the song was pulled, fans noticed that it showed the upload location as Australia. And the way BandLab works is you can't really change that location as it's geo-mapped, meaning that whoever did upload that song obviously uploaded it from Australia. Now, the song obviously sounded like David, it was his voice, it was his official account, so I've said this before, I'll say it again, if it looks like a duck and it acts like a duck, then it's probably David. Now, this still is a little bit confusing because we have not heard anything new, we don't really know what is going on, the cops are kind of just not giving us any information. They say that they have footage of the last person to drive the car, and then we're not allowed to see the footage because it's an ongoing case. So everything is just very.
He goes, "Say you love me, then you say goodbye. Had a feeling you would leave my side. I still think about you day and night. The simple things that always made me cry." Like, that line hits deep. Then he questions himself. Do I miss you? I can't decide. If I have issues, then I'm all right. If you love me, then please don't lie. You're supposed to be mine. If something changed, at least can I know why? That's not just heartbreak talk. That's guilt, confusion, and obsession wrapped up in one. It's like he's haunted by something he can't let go of.
Family of Celeste knew that she wasn't technically missing because she was coming around family still. She was still apparently talking to family. Her brother knew who she was around. Her cousin, Esmeralda, seems to have known who she was around, yet nobody ever contacted authorities to let them know that Celeste wasn't a missing juvenile anymore.
Then he repeats, "I don't ever want to waste your time," over and over again, almost like he's convincing himself more than anyone else. And the tone, it's not anger, it's frustration, like he's reliving a fight he never really got closure from. The last part stands out the most. "You get mad, it didn't go your way, and you don't listen to a thing." That sounds like a direct quote from a real argument. It's raw, it's personal, and it feels like a glimpse straight into a toxic relationship he's still not over. He sings, "The way I feel is written on my face, 'cause you want somebody to take my place? You did. To take my place, you did. No, no, no." Then that familiar chorus hits again.
A major update in the case of David and Celeste, as David just released a song. I mean, you're gonna want to hear this. Just yesterday, thousands of people got a BandLab notification that David released a new song titled Rush, but minutes later, it vanished. The song was apparently created on October 2nd, and some people think it was released on accident, and others think it was on purpose. Here are the lyrics. "Thought we were taking it slow, but you don't want to wait on me." Many people were speculating that this was about Celeste wanting to talk to other guys and David being jealous, or it was about her not wanting to wait until she was of age. He then says, "Say you love me, then you say goodbye. Had a feeling you would leave my side. I still think about you day and night. The simple things always made me cry. Do I miss you? I can't decide. If I have issues, then I'm alright. If you love me, then please don't lie. Baby, you're supposed to be mine. If something changed, can I at least know why? Cause I don't ever want to waste your time." The chorus repeats, then he says, "You get mad it didn't go your way, and you don't listen to a thing I say. The way I feel is written on my face, cause you want somebody to take my place." And if this actually is referencing Celeste, it's insane and tells us how he actually felt
"I thought we were taking it slow." And finally, he closes the song repeating, "So many things that I need." But what are these so many things he's talking about? What exactly does David think he needs in a relationship? Control, validation, closure. It almost sounds like he's listing emotional terms and conditions for anyone trying to love him. Fans online are not holding back either. One person commented, "Bro thinks he's mysterious. What a loser. He really thinks he's about to get away with this." Another jumped in saying, "I feel like he is. What's the holdup?" And someone else replied, "It takes time to build a case against someone, but how much time though? Years!" The comments are brutal. People are furious that he's still out here dropping and deleting music while under so much public scrutiny. One user said, "Making more sad boy songs while facing murder charges shouldn't be allowed. These platforms should stop promoting manipulative people like him."
Do I miss you? I can't decide if I have issues or I'm alright. If you love me, then please don't lie, baby. You're supposed to be mine. If something changed, can I at least know why?
Another added, "Some sad girls are gonna hear those basic beats, feel bad for him, and fall into his trap all over again." And honestly, that's the vibe a lot of people are picking up, that he's using music as a shield, wrapping his guilt and obsession in heartbreak lyrics so fans sympathize instead of question him. Then someone pointed out something that really hits. This song, Rush, has to be from before her death. He's still singing like she broke his heart. He always paints her in a bad light, especially when he talks about her replacing him. It's almost like every new track is his way of rewriting the story, shifting blame, twisting the memory, and trying to turn tragedy into art. It really feels like David would rather believe Celeste broke his heart than face the truth, that she's gone and that something dark might have happened between them. It's like he's clinging to this fantasy version of her, refusing to accept the finality of what went down. That might even explain why he keeps trying to mimic her, in his art, in his visuals, even in his fashion choices lately. It's eerie, like he's still chasing her ghost through every creative project he touches. Someone online asked, has he ever written a song that wasn't about her or blaming her?
They have now revealed that there were several disturbing items found inside of the Hollywood Hills home David was renting, as well as surveillance footage. All of this information comes from the private investigator that was hired by the owner of the Hollywood Hills home David was renting. The private investigator said that they found, quote, disturbing evidence at the Hollywood Hills home during their investigation. He did make it clear, however, the items found were not against the law to possess. However, they would not be something that you would normally find in a residential environment. He described the items as something that could be used to potentially harm someone. He went on to state that he would categorize them as going beyond a, quote, typical tool, and that they...
And honestly, it's a fair question because it feels like every track circles back to the same obsession. Celeste. You probably remember that his Withered Deluxe album was completely scrapped after the whole investigation scandal blew up. That album title alone, Withered, is chilling.
On May 30th, 2024, again, while Celeste is still considered a missing juvenile, she attends her cousin Esmeralda's high school graduation. I don't know, it seems like Celeste and Esmeralda were pretty close to one another, and Esmeralda was also the one who created the GoFundMe page for Celeste.
The deluxe version was rumored to have even darker undertones, and the imagery, straight up cryptic. Think about it, withered literally means something once alive, but now decayed, clinging to what's left. And if you dig into that meaning, it's like he's describing himself, or maybe his connection to Celeste, like she was the part of him that's gone, but he refuses to let her fade. Some fans even pointed out how the name ties into the whole plants dying, but still holding on to dead leaves symbolism. Something that's technically living, but spiritually broken. And then others drew a darker connection, saying it almost echoes the disturbing allegations about dismemberment that were floating around online.
Started instructing neighbors not to search for Celeste because she was, quote, staying with a family member near LA. Now, we still don't know who Celeste was staying with when she was not with David. In one of the recent PI's interviews, he stated that he believes that Celeste was staying at an apartment with someone else. So could her family have been telling the truth? Maybe Celeste was actually staying in the LA area with a family member, maybe her cousin. I will say that it's interesting looking at Esmeralda, the cousin's information, because it seems like she moved across the country to attend college for the 2024-2025 school year. So if Celeste was maybe staying with Esmeralda somewhere in LA and Esmeralda ends up going to school across the country, comes back around the holidays in 2024, but then goes back to school in January of 2025, that is around the same time period that Celeste was last seen. I'm not saying that Esmeralda had any knowledge or anything to do with Celeste's death, but I'm just saying that this would have given whoever was around Celeste at this time opportunity to be around her alone, and it also would indicate why maybe the...
It's hard not to read too much into it, especially when every creative move he makes seems to circle right back to her. There are tons of photos and sightings showing David and Celeste out together, just living life publicly like everything was normal. People have spotted them at restaurants, parks, even quiet residential areas. Like it was no secret they spent a lot of time together. One moment that keeps coming up is when they were seen on a dinner date at Bossa Nova Brazilian cuisine, and that's not even the only one. There were several outings where she looked way too young to be wrapped up in a world like his. Reports suggest she was even staying at one of his rental houses, and not just occasionally. It looked like she was living there, and that's where things start getting disturbing. David's had multiple properties, a big one in the hills, a few smaller rentals, and during that whole period, he was moving between them like he had something to hide. Remember Steve, the independent investigator? He's the one who was hired by the homeowner of that Hollywood Hills property to dig into whether Celeste was still there and alive at the time. Well, Steve just shared a post that's got people's attention again, this time focusing on Celeste's family. According to Steve, the first time Celeste was reported missing was on February 14th, 2024. The same exact day a guy named Josh Marshall officially took possession of one of David's rental homes. Total coincidence or not? Because that timing sounds way too convenient. Then, her last missing report was filed on April 5th, 2024. But Steve questions if she was even truly missing at that point. Just a few weeks later, on May 30th, Celeste was seen attending her cousin Esmeralda's high school graduation, smiling, laughing, totally normal. And then in September, she showed up again, caught on video arguing with neighbors at the Lake Eleanor property, another one linked to David's circle. Every new timeline update makes things murkier, not clearer. So was she actually disappearing? Or was someone controlling the story behind the scenes? At that point, Celeste was officially listed as a missing person. But clearly, she wasn't missing at all. She was literally seen at her cousin Esmeralda's graduation, smiling in photos, and later caught on video fighting with neighbors. Like, how can someone be missing while popping up all over the place? Something about that whole situation just doesn't make sense. There's even a picture of her from the graduation. Bright dress, same hairstyle, standing right next to her cousin. Then not long after, that clip surfaces showing her arguing with locals near the Lake Eleanor property. So Steve, the investigator, is asking the right question here. How much did her family really know? Because from the outside, it's starting to look like maybe her family knew exactly where she was. Possibly even that she was staying with David, but chose to label her as missing to dodge legal issues. Think about it. If they admitted she was living with him instead of being enrolled in school, that could have triggered serious trouble. So by calling her missing, they might have been protecting themselves, while she stayed under the radar with David. Steve even questioned, why didn't any family members ever tell law enforcement she was safe? The most likely reason, fear of a CPS investigation right from the start. If they admitted they knew she was with an adult, authorities could have stepped in fast, and no one wanted that spotlight. Even more suspicious, someone close to the Lake Eleanor neighborhood told Steve that after Celeste's last missing report, certain family members specifically told neighbors not to look for her. They claimed she was staying with another relative near Los Angeles and insisted everyone just let it go. But here's where it gets strange. Nobody's ever confirmed any relative in LA actually existed. And we know Celeste's mom already knew who her boyfriend was, David. So that family member excuse doesn't sound solid at all. Maybe that whole family member in LA story was just a cover-up, because honestly, it's disturbing to think that the very people who were supposed to protect Celeste might have allowed her to be in that relationship. The same one that ended in tragedy. If that's true, it puts a heavy weight of responsibility on her parents. Like, how could they knowingly let their young daughter live with an adult man in Los Angeles? That's not just bad judgment, that's neglect on a serious level. Then Steve drops another bombshell. He straight up asked, did you attend an event with David and Celeste on April 21st, 2024? And he wasn't just guessing. He connected that date to photos and footage that hinted Celeste's cousin Esmeralda was there too, meaning she wasn't just aware of the relationship, she might have been present at their public outings. Steve's also questioning, why was Celeste at your graduation if she was listed as a runaway and not even enrolled in school? That's a huge contradiction. If the family truly believed she was missing, why celebrate together in public? And if they didn't, then what were they hiding from the police? Of course, people online instantly jumped in to defend Esmeralda, saying she's still just 18. Leave her out of this. But Steve made a sharp point. The GoFundMe created after Celeste's disappearance has $24,000 in donations under Esmeralda's name. That's not just a small favor. That makes her a key player in managing the public narrative. And that's exactly why people are asking tough questions. If you step up to lead a fundraiser, represent the family, and speak publicly, then transparency becomes fair game, especially when the timeline and the money don't quite match up. Some commenters online are torn, saying, I think the family knew, but felt helpless. They figured letting her go was better than losing contact completely. And honestly, that could be true. Maybe they were scared. Maybe they thought letting her live with David would keep her safe somehow, or at least keep her close enough to reach. But even if that's the case, it doesn't make it right. She was still a child, 13 or 14, and no amount of fame or charm from a pop star should have convinced anyone this was okay. From Celeste's perspective, the whole thing probably looked like a dream. The big city, the fame, the lifestyle, the attention from a pop star. For a teenager, that's beyond tempting. But that's exactly where discipline and guidance from adults are supposed to come in, because if any parent heard their 13-year-old say, I'm moving to LA to live with a musician, the only answer should have been absolutely not. Someone online said it best. The most obvious reason the family filed that missing person report was to keep the school and truancy officers off their backs. Basically, by claiming she was missing, they stopped anyone from questioning why she hadn't been in school for months. And the sad part? That plan actually worked for a while. Then another cousin enters the story, Shelly, and her side of things makes it even murkier. A post surfaced, allegedly from her, claiming the family stayed quiet because they were afraid Celeste might vanish completely if they spoke up about David. Shelly also claimed Celeste originally lied about her age when she first met him, but later came clean. And according to her, David didn't back off. In fact, she said he seemed even more interested after learning the truth. That's just chilling. Shelly supposedly admitted she met David herself and confirmed she told him Celeste was 13 or 14 at the time. Instead of being shocked or walking away, he kept the relationship going. It's horrifying to think anyone could ignore something like that. And since we're already talking about the cousins, Esmeralda, Shelly, let's not forget Wendy Rodriguez. She actually posted something on social media months before everything exploded. Back in February 2024, she shared a message that said, "Be careful with who you talk to on the internet, guys. Don't make the same mistakes my cousin made. You never know who's on the other side of that screen." That's wild, because that was way before anyone outside the family suspected something serious was going on. It's like she knew something bad had already happened or was about to happen. So what exactly did Wendy know about Celeste's toxic relationship with David that early, as far back as February 2024? That's what everyone's trying to figure out right now. One old article titled "Stalker Tries to Steal Our Little Sister" makes it sound like the family already had major concerns before things got out of control. Wendy wasn't just some distant relative either. She had a real connection to Celeste. You can actually see it through her own posts. On her personal page, she uploaded photos and short clips of them together, laughing, hanging out, being close. In one particular short video, you can clearly see Celeste, smiling, carefree, with no clue about the storm that was coming. Watching that now feels gut-wrenching. That poor girl had no idea what kind of danger she was walking into. Then months later, by September, Wendy went public again, and her tone had completely changed. She posted, "You won't silence us any longer." That's a bold statement, almost like she knew there were people trying to keep the truth buried. Now here's where things get even more interesting. I want to make it clear that if any of Celeste's family members, including Wendy, ever want to speak out publicly, they're welcome to share their side of the story. Same goes for Steve, the investigator, because the more voices, the closer we get to understanding what really happened. Speaking of Steve, he's been very active on Twitter lately. He even got into a mini feud with TMZ after they published a piece that downplayed key parts of the investigation. Steve wasn't having it. He called them out and then shared something that instantly reignited the entire case. Body cam footage connected to one of the search scenes. So let's rewind for a second. Back in late July, around the 20th, police actually visited David's house. This was just days before the Tesla was found abandoned on July 29th, which makes the timing way too close to ignore. Steve, the investigator, recently shared a short clip from the body cam footage captured during that visit, and it's wild to finally see what was happening behind those gates. According to Steve, the officers were responding to a disturbance call. Apparently, there were a bunch of young girls gathered outside the property, causing a scene. That's what triggered the visit in the first place. But watching that clip raises more questions than it answers. What was going on inside that house before the police got there? And why did things go quiet right after? Everyone online is asking the same thing. Why hasn't David been arrested yet? Like, how much more evidence do they need before taking serious action? Is there something bigger happening behind the scenes, maybe involving more people than we realize? Could Celeste's own family be caught up in the investigation somehow? Because it's starting to feel like there's more to this than anyone's admitting. Even Steve hinted that law enforcement might be looking into possible complicity, not just David's actions, but whether anyone else enabled what happened. Still, it's shocking that months have gone by with no official charges. Honestly, at this point, it seems like they're not even planning to go after David for the most obvious thing, the illegal relationship itself. That's something they could easily pursue, and yet total silence, which makes you think maybe the investigators are focusing on something way darker. The last thing worth mentioning, David has completely vanished this October. No sightings, no new posts, nothing. People online are buzzing, asking, where is he hiding? A few users claim he's been spotted in Houston, Texas, supposedly staying with family. But that raises the biggest question. Why would LAPD even allow him to leave California if that's where the alleged crime happened? That doesn't make sense at all. Some fans online are speculating about what his days look like now. One person joked, he probably just plays Fortnite all day, while another said he's been glued to social media, obsessively scrolling through Reddit threads, Discord chats, and Instagram pages about himself. Imagine living like that, constantly watching people dissect your every move while the investigation keeps tightening around you. Honestly, if that's true, then yeah, it should be a nightmare for him, because whatever he's feeling right now is nothing compared to what Celeste went through. He built this entire storm himself, and now he's trapped inside it. Every rumor, every clip, every fan theory, it's all closing in, and there's nowhere left to hide. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think about this update? Will there finally be an arrest soon, or is he still out there trying to play the victim while investigators move quietly behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this story is far from over. Oh, and before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can stay updated on what's really happening. I've got a brand new podcast episode out today. Go check it out. I'm all dressed up for it. Until next time, see you in the next video.